I'm a Gideon war. Youngsters, we know who you are. Can't hide behind no back of scars. Hey everybody, this is Osprey from mychartcoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at natural gas. Alright, let's take a look here at the futures. This is the 15-minute chart. You can see here there was a big gap down open today. It closed here at 3788 on Friday, and then you can see here the futures opened up way down here at 362. So you're looking at a gap down open for natural gas. As long as it doesn't rally tonight, it could happen. You know, natural gas moves a lot during futures trading, so we'll just have to see. Right now it's looking like more downside risk for natural gas. If you look here at ticker symbol UNG, this is the United States Natural Gas Fund, and last week the chart finally broke down. If you've been following our technical analysis, you know that a symmetrical triangle pattern had formed, and that pattern broke on Friday, or not Friday but last week on Tuesday. You could see here the it dropped below 50 on RSI. That signaled downside risk. Fasto is now down here at 0. It's down below 20, so it's hitting very oversold levels with that low of day close on Friday. You can see there's no lower wick on Friday's candle. Check out the symmetrical triangle. There's descending resistance and ascending support, and you can see right here on Tuesday on this red candle the ascending support line broke along with the dotted purple line, which is the middle Bollinger Band at 35.36, and so the drop below both levels that did signal downside risk. That was followed by a gap down open. You can see this gap has not quite filled between these two candles. And then on Friday, there was another big gap down open. You can see the big space between low of day on Thursday and high of day on Friday. The 50-day simple moving average is being tested right now at 30.82. It looks like with the gap down open, it's going to open below that level. It's going to be all about getting back above that 50-day simple moving average. It should have a technical bounce off of that zone unless UNG is going to get super bearish. Now there is a gap over here, an unfilled gap, and what you could have is the a drop down here to just below 30 to hit the top of this gap. If it broke below the top of the gap, a drop down to 29 would be a gap fill. So it might open around this, right below 30 level with if the natural gas is under pressure at the open tomorrow. And so we'll have to see if it can get a technical bounce off of one of these levels. If it did drop below 29, the next major support level would be down here at the 100-day simple moving average at 273. There's also, or 27.33. There's also a gap here, a big gap, and so a drop down to 27 would fill that second gap. It looks like this gap right here did get filled on Friday. There was a gap between these two candles here, and so these two candles didn't quite fill on this candle here, but that did fill on Friday. And so yeah, so right now we're going to see if it can hold this 30 support zone. It's really going to be all about trying to get back above 30.82. If that remains resistance, it's likely to work its way down to that 27 support zone and test that 100-day simple moving average. Now take a look at DGAZ here. This is the velocity shares 3 times inverse natural gas ETN, and so this is when natural gas goes down, this goes up. It had a big week last week, closed up 23% on Friday. Yeah, you could see it got above 30 on RSI on Tuesday. Fasto is maxed at 100. It's above 80 right now. You want to see it stay above 80. Yeah, back here on Tuesday it started, breaking resistance. It got above EMA4, that pink line. Notice it had a descending triangle pattern here with descending resistance, and then horizontal support down here, and then on Wednesday it broke out above the descending resistance line, and it also closed above the middle Bollinger Band, currently at 59.92. That's this dotted purple line. That level held on Thursday as well. That signaled the possible start of a new uptrend, and then there was a nice gap up open on Friday. And so now with the gap up open or gap down possibly for natural gas, this should be pushing higher. And then what you have is this resistance zone here, this closing price here here on the 15th, and then the bottom of the gap. So in here between this 90 to 100 resistance zone here, that's going to be the next big level to break. Breaking the bottom of this gap will be tough, so keep an eye on that 100 level. Okay, let's look at DGAZ here on the 15-minute chart. You can see it has a really strong uptrend going. If it gets a drop below the middle Bollinger Band at 75.73 here on the 15-minute chart, that would be your signal that it's cooling down. That's where it could come down and possibly test that 50 simple moving average. Maybe fill the gap between high of day and low of day here, between these two days. You know, a drop down here to 66 would fill the gap between the 13th and the 14th. You know, it just needs to keep holding support to keep pushing higher. If you look at UGAZ here, it closed down 22% on Friday. Yeah, it broke below 50 on RSI. Fasto's down here at 0. You know, it's extreme oversold levels. It dropped below 20. You can see here, minus DI, the red line is crossed over the green line. That's a signal the bears are heating up. It failed to hold the 50-day simple moving average last week. That did signal downside risk when it dropped below on Friday. Right now, it's hitting the 100 and 400 simple moving average support levels, basically at about 91. And so it's going to be all about holding this 91 support zone. It looks like there's going to be a gap down open for UGAZ, since this moves 3 times the movement of natural gas. And so if this is natural gas is down, this will be down 3 times that move. And so what's likely to happen is a break below this 100-day simple moving average right around 91. And then what you're looking for is a bounce off of this 200 and 300-day simple moving average support zone. That's between 75 and 77 here. If it comes down there and hits that 75 zone, you should see a lot of buyers. You never know, they could rally natural gas tonight. It is below the lower Bollinger Band, way up here at 101.54. And so, yeah, the candles do like to work their way back into the bands. EMA 4 is way up here at 113.50. So, yeah, below 91, that's going to put 75, 76 on deck. If it could hold 91, it could possibly bounce back up to EMA 4 at 113.50. Right now, it's looking like more downside risk. You can see this is the UGAZ weekly chart. It was down over 40% for the week, so that was a really bad week. After being above 70 on RSI for multiple weeks, it dropped below, and now it's below 50. That's a signal it's really cooling down. You also have Fasto below 20. And so, yeah, the chart is completely broken here, you know, completely cooled off. It was not completely broken yet because it's trying to hold this middle Bollinger Band at 92.13. That's this dotted purple line here. You can see it closed right at that level. You know, if it could try to, you know, hold that level next week, then it could keep this uptrend intact. If that level turns into resistance, you're likely to see it drop down to the 50-day or 50-week simple moving average at 74.26. You can see the gap between high of day on this candle and low of day on this candle, so it dropped down to this green line that would fill the gap. It looks like it's going to possibly open below that level tomorrow, and if it does open below that level and it turns into resistance, the bottom of the gap and the middle Bollinger Band, that's going to signal more downside risk, and you're likely to get that 74 level tested. Notice how that 74 is also lining up with the 200 and 300-day simple moving averages. So, you know, between 74 and 76, that should be a major support zone if that 91, 92 level fails to hold. Now look at UGAZ on the 15-minute chart. You could see, yeah, it really broke down here on the 11th. You know, it started breaking down here in the close on the 10th, and then it just has a really strong downtrend right now. What it needs to do is get above this middle Bollinger Band at 96.50. That's the dotted purple line. Once it turns that level into support, it could possibly run back up to that 50 simple moving average at 109. Notice it hit that level on Thursday, but it failed. You know, it closed above, but it failed to hold, and then it kept dropping lower. If it retraces back to that 50 simple moving average, and once again that level fails to break when tested, that will be the lock and gain zone on a technical bounce. As long as candles are forming below EMA's 4 and 8 resistance, the pink and lime line on the UGAZ 15-minute chart, it's a signal that the bears are still strongly in control and more downside risk. Has to get above that middle Bollinger Band at 96.50 to start a technical bounce. Okay, thanks for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, please come check out the chat. Thank you.